Hello, folks, and welcome to the first game of the Friend or Foe Series 5 matchup. This is like day number 2 after the midseason split, first day of the week. I am your friendly neighborhood shoutcaster, Shargan, and I have joining me from across the pond, Lolo.
Hello, Shargan. How are you doing? I'm very, very excited. It's another week. It's a lot of stuff has shaken up last week, so it'll be very interesting to see how these games go, and this is a great one to start things off. Let's get into the draft.
Absolutely, hopping right in on this. So looking at Team Watch, if I'm reading this correctly, we've actually got like 3 players that we have not seen perform in the league before, so this is going to be really exciting. We do see the Zeri ban coming out, just kind of like, I feel like that's like the staple ban at this point, like, because even though she got hit with a couple of nerfs, she's still very much a scary champion. Another ban against RLS's escape, getting rid of his Aphelios. Very good thing to get rid of. We do see the Aatrox and the Gangplank ban coming out against Chalk. Those are some of his most popular play champs in solo queue. So what are you kind of expecting to come out here between these two teams so far, just based on what we're seeing right now?
Well, Shargan, as you said, there's a lot of unknowns here, particularly on the side of Team Wash. This is a very different lineup. Wednesday, who previously has been an absolute rock in the mid lane for them, is playing jungle this time around. Let's go, Joey, a long-time friend of FOF. This is his first game ever, I think, in the actual league. This is going to be very exciting for him. Johnny Tsunami is a staple as well, but Chalk, Hero X Flash, not players we've seen before. So RLS have done a little bit of scouting and said, okay, this guy's a 2-trick, plays Aatrox GP. Let's take that away from him. On the other side, we do see our old, a fan favorite RLS Anti coming back in, but he's on the jungle this time around. I'm not sure I've ever seen this guy play jungle before, but I am quite excited to see that as well. So with that to begin with, the Jinx being first picked, that on the one hand, it's one of the best first picks you can take right now, just in general in League of Legends. But also, it's a great pick for Hero X Flash, who is most proficient on the championship, judging just by his stats in solo queue. But also, it denies Escape, who has favored it greatly, as it is basically one of the best champions in the game at the moment. So no surprises there.
Exactly. So I expect we'll probably see something like maybe a Kai'Sa, maybe a Kate, something that'll either outrange or just scale a little bit up into this late game coming out from Escape. We do see the Volibear pickup. I have a feeling that that's probably going for Kyrie. We haven't seen her perform on a Volibear yet, but that is more of a top laner, though because of how comfortable Anti is, very likely as a jungle pick, so that's a good flex right there. And I am looking to see what we're going to see come out from the side of Team Watch, picking up the Janna for the support.
Yes,
that's going to be painful.
Well, it's Johnny's signature, obviously, Tsunami by name and by nature, and he has one game of it so far in the league and has won on it, and it's obviously not a champion that we see too often picked in competitive, but it does provide a lot of peel for a Jinx, so if they are able to, particularly with this Volibear coming out, and I think, I personally, Shargan, think this is something, yes, it can be flexed very well, it's definitely something that Anti and War Leader, when that was the top jungle pairing that we've previously seen from RLS, used to do, is Prior pick this Volibear, flex it between the two of them. So Anti is very comfortable on it. We've not seen Kieri on it just yet, but it is a very strong jungler in the meta at the moment. And Wednesday, though, is going to answer with a Sejuani. We have no data on this in particular, and it is going to be something that he can kind of attempt to, I suppose, counter jungle with, because I think we are going to be, whatever Anti picks, I think we're going to be seeing aggression from him early.
Yeah, we got like just a whole lot of rotations going on right now on the side of Team Watch. With that jungle pickup, I do like how blue Team Washed is, like just from their logo all the way down to the champions. Just want to point that out right there. But just the tankiness, I do see the Ari ban coming out. We do know that from solo queue stats that's Joey's preferred champion. Although we have seen it underperforming, and Utility Monster did actually talk about that on the lounge that was released just a little while ago. So go check that out and catch his thoughts on that. But we do have Hero X Flash still, top lane for Chalk, and still needs to come out, and it's going to be really interesting to see what he ends up choosing.
So the Kai'Sa ban here is telling, because that's in here it is, of course, it's an ADC. It's something that Escape has played previously. I don't know. I mean, are they expecting it maybe to be a Victor rotated into the bot lane or something? Because the reason you ban Kai'Sa in this meta, it does just look like they're trying to take away as many ADCs as possible from Escape. Because the reason you ban this champion is if you want to play something farming in the mid lane, because we're seeing her a lot in mid lane at the moment as a way of dealing with champions like Corki, for example, champions which are looking to farm primarily and try to get to those sort of later spikes, and she can match them on that late game kind of poke potential with the Void Seeker, but also can actually bully them early with the Hail of Blades. But it does look like it's going to be an MF coming out, and we're seeing a little bit of a more favorability, I think, particularly recently I've seen in some regions a favor back towards the MF. It is actually going to be a Corki coming out, so maybe that Kai'Sa was just a little bit of insurance there. But the MF, just to say again, it is still a super strong champion with the amount of engage and kind of lockdown that RLS's team have. They could be getting themselves some pretty valuable bullet times if they control the choke points correctly.
Yeah, I really like the choice of MF in this situation, because you have a lot of situations where you're going to be able to stun or lock down multiple targets, slow them with the box on Thresh. And so with that, you're actually going to end up in a situation where you have that easy bullet time. Throwing in Darius as well means you're going to be able to easily get that cleave and just get that nice slash. Lots of lifesteal off of that, and lots of bleed damage is basically going to be coming out. So I really like that RLS is basically just a big go button once Thresh, Volibear, or Victor hit their CC, and then it's just going to be a lot of damage coming out very, very quickly. In the meantime, Washed has a little bit, I don't want to say, they're more of a poke, like, distance comp, so I'm leaning more towards RLS just overall based on these picks and bans.
Well, Washed has some benefit of scaling because they've got Corki, they've got Jinx, they've got the Janna for peel, they've got Sejuani for peel, they've got the Mordekaiser who can, of course, just take away. If, say, the Volibear tries to jump on the Jinx's head, he can just say, just press the no button on that. So that is useful. They have forms of peel. RLS have to play the early game quite because they don't want to allow the Corki and the Jinx to get to that later stages where they can carry fights. Anti is definitely going to be proactive here. This is why Wednesday would pick something that's attempting to neutralize those kind of early ganks. Particularly in the top side, I think Kieri is going to be very happy here because she's on Comfort. This is her most comfortable champion, I think, her highest played. She's against a champion that she's familiar with on the Mordekaiser. We have no information on how good Chalk is on this champion, but I think it's a matchup that she's going to be quite happy with. You know, the Darius has potential to bully early. So it's going to be about the early game, definitely for RLS, particularly in the top side. And of course, the MF in the bottom. And I think it's going to be down to Wash to try to play out that sort of later into the game where they can hit those spikes on those key carries and get a lot of damage down. And that's going to be their win condition.
You are very, very right. And just punching these drafts into pro comps, you will actually see that the early game heavily favors RLS, like you said, and then it is a straight decline all the way to the bottom lane of the late game, where they will just get absolutely crushed if Washed is allowed to scale. There is a point in the mid game where if their Washed is able to get to that point, that they will be able to get very, very high. It's going to be very interesting. Objective insight wise, both teams have a balanced priority on the bot side, so I expect to see a lot of fighting in the bot lane for those dragons.
Yeah, now just before we get into game, as it does look like it's going to be potential just bot side clearing to top side for both sides, and no surprises there. I think Anti is going to be looking to play around Kieri a little bit more, because when she's on the Darius, she is actually something that they can play strong side. Normally she's a weak side top laner, but that aside, Sharo, I think we should make note that obviously there are some things that in addition to the beautiful broadcast that you're seeing just before us right now, some of the stats that we're talking about are things that we have directly been taking from the weekly magazine. So let's talk about that a little bit just as we get into the laning phase.
Yep. Well, I believe today's issue was titled Upswing. It's issue number 7.
Yes.
And something that I want to point out, like in the first or second page, and this is also really, really exciting, is we finally have a merch store.
Yes.
So we finally have pins, t-shirts, hoodies. You can get some really cool, like, INTT hoodies. That's the one that I'm definitely going to be getting just because I love tea. So I'm excited about that one. But yeah, definitely. It's free to check out the FOF Connect, and you get a lot of really cool insights. Lots of really good information and recaps for the day. Plus, you got your Jeff stats. So,
yes.
Yeah, Jeff stats are always exciting.
I love me some Jeff stats. I also love me some FOF merch. I may have already ordered 2 hoodies, Sharagan. Nobody judged me, but it costs quite a bit to get it shipped transatlantic, so you might as well make the most of it.
I feel you there.
Yeah, exactly. So as we're going to get into game, let's just have a quick look. We didn't pay too much attention, but there's nothing particularly interesting. I'd say some of the things that we should note here is it's going to be a comet from Escape. So yes, they're really looking to try to poke the bot side of Washed out early, establish a lot of priority for Anti to potentially work around, pick himself up some early Drakes, because he does have so much early pressure on this bear. But no surprises, it does look like he's already looking to put, he's looking topside, he's looking at Chalk and saying, this is where we can potentially find an opening immediately in Wash's game.
Exactly, and it's going to be something really, really exciting to see. We see an early back coming out from Escape. I'm kind of surprised to see that, but of course we've also got Thresh just rotating the mid lane. They're looking to get these early skirmishes started right here. Look at that. Tef already going for that gank. We have Volibear pressuring the top side jungle. This is about to get exciting.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit of contestation over that top scuttle, but in fact, it looks like...
And we got the hook coming out, and that is going to be poor little Corky caught right there. He's going to try and flash away, but it's not going to matter. He's going to get caught in the Victor stun, and that is first blood, though it is picked up by the support, unfortunately.
No, it's his first game in the league. Be nice to him. Jeez. Come on. But, I mean, let's go, Joey. He is playing a champion that struggles early game, and he just has to be wary of those kinds of things. He does burn his flash, so he's even more susceptible. He's not going to burn his TP going back to lane. He is going to be able to catch this wave. But this is something that Anti and Tephra can do on cooldown, particularly as they have priority in that bot lane, allowing for that roam. They, as you mentioned, Escape getting the reset off. He's coming back. He's got an item advantage. Great roam from Tephra. He's picked up a kill. It doesn't matter because already just RLS have built themselves a little bit of a lead, which is what they need.
They have. Although, looking at the Jeff stats, I do want to point out that the throw percentage for RLS is actually 37.5.
My God.
It's that's not an insignificant number. So we expect that Wash should win at about 15 minutes. So if they're in that position, more than likely that's going to be what ends up happening.
So I was looking at this, and again, just read the connect, because it really does, shed some light on some of the ways in which I guess things could be changed. Things could be so different. So if RLS finish their games at 15 minutes. Then they would be 6-2 right now, according to those statistics. They are currently sitting at 3-5. This shows that they are spectacular at building early leads, and no surprise, they draft early game team comps, right? But they keep throwing.
And speaking of that, look at this. We've already gotten engaged coming down here on the bot lane. Wednesday trying to get a good lunch. That's going to be a couple of flashes coming out. We do see Escape getting caught right there. This is a nice tornado coming out. He's going to go down. Escape gets taken out of the equation. Tephra getting brought exceptionally low as well, and that is going to be a double kill for Jinx. This is exactly what RLS does not want to happen, as a triple kill. Wednesday takes down that, so that is going to be a double kill for Jinx. Wednesday picking the kill, so that is a nice bit of gold. Kieri almost getting pulled under tower as well. That is going to be a big problem for RLS.
Okay, I can't even call that a curse, Sharagan, because what we were talking about, it's 5 minutes into the game, and that is a problem. You've just given the Jinx 2 kills. The Sejuani, beautiful, hang on.
Oh, we got Kieri getting caught onto the death realm. They're able to flash away, but they are getting exceptionally low. Look at that. That is going to be their health bar just burned away. The Dark Star Mordekaiser taking their soul.
Yeah, so at level 6, you do have to be a little bit careful, because this champion steals your stats, and he's very, very difficult to 1v1, particularly when he has a life advantage. And of course, the Ghost isn't getting you out of trouble if you're trapped in the Death Realm. So that's a rough one there for Kieri, who doesn't have TP to get back to lane. She did burn her flash as well. We do note, of course, that she still has a 20 CS lead after getting bullied so heavily. So Chalk, that's just going to be able to neutralize that a little bit. Hold on.
Look at that. We got a hard engage right there. Excuse me.
In the meantime, Wednesday, I'm not sure we've seen Wednesday play jungle yet in the league, but they're definitely doing some work right now on this Sejuani, because that's another flash but taken from Pengu. That's putting him at a disadvantage. That's even flashes in the mid lane. Joey's still got TP. He's just got to be careful that he doesn't get hit with any sort of solo kill. And if he doesn't, then he's actually in a pretty, strong position now, despite that earlier gank from Anti. So this is looking great, honestly, for Washed. They have the better scaling. They're even at the moment. Their Jinx is ahead. And their Mordekaiser, whilst he's significantly behind on farm, is still able to hold the 1v1. Now he's going to be able to take even trades. This is a very good look for them. And RLS, I think, are going to have to potentially start stacking some Drakes or just looking at some of those neutral objectives where they can force a fight that they like in order to, build themselves up a snowball again.
Exactly, yeah. I have just learned that I am not a fish. I cannot breathe water. So sorry about that. That was a very inopportune time for that to happen. Look at that. We got a nice bit of trade coming in the bot once again.
In the meantime, it does look like that Washed are going to be setting their sights on that first Drake, that Hextech Drake. And it does look like Wednesday's going to be trying to take that away. Maybe she's actually going to be looking at... Hold on.
Not quite. Right. It's a little bit too much health bar on that Mordekaiser right there. Not quite able to finish him off.
He's going to have to be careful staying there, though, because that's a huge wave, and that's bleed as well.
That is an absolutely massive wave. We do see Kyrie trying to get some of that plating. They do want to get that gold. We do have Wednesday and Let's Go Joey coming up to the top lane to try and save their top lane. They're going to be able to do it. That is going to be a nice hard engage. Lots of damage coming out onto the Darius. Darius taken down, and then we do see Volibear having to ult away just to stay alive. That is basically a reversal of the situation up there. And again, we're seeing Wash with that scaling comp starting to get these early leads, starting to get themselves pushed ahead really, really far. And it's just going to make the end game come that much faster in their favor.
Yeah, so RLS, I don't blame Kiera entirely because that looked so tantalizing. Chalk just sitting there under tower, and he was just, one tip a Q away from getting taken out. But they've got to pay attention to those roam timers. Joey had left lane. That is going to allow... Yeah, no dice for Anti. That's going to allow the Herald to be picked up for the side of Washed. And that is going to allow them to potentially drop it mid lane. Just allow them to actually build, continue to build themselves a gold lead.
Yeah, drop that mid lane, or they can try and get themselves that pressure there. Getting that tower taken down quickly. Personally, I feel like they want to get rid of top or bottom. You want to keep Darius trapped up there in the top lane as long as possible. But I think if you can get this Jinx roaming around the map, get that Janna roaming around the map, it'll be way more beneficial for Wash to just continue this snowball. What RLS needs to do is they need to start playing around this Hextech Drake, and they need to try and pick that up because those stats, while it's going to be really minor, at 20 minutes when they fully kick in, is going to be really beneficial for them with that extra cooldown, that a little bit of extra damage.
Particularly if it's something like Mountain Soul, of course, we don't know yet. I mean, it's definitely not Hextech, but if it's something like that, then it's actually going to make life a lot easier because Joey at the moment, again, he's neutralized. Hold on.
Ooh, we got a nice engage onto Johnny Tsunami, kind of pressuring up onto this Thresh a little bit too much. They are safe because of the minion being there, but that is going to be a burned flash, which is a huge deficit for Janna. But at the same time, they could just back off, let this wave push into their tower, and they're pretty much set right now with Jinx pretty far ahead.
Yeah, I mean, she's got 2 kills. She's a little bit down on CS. She needs to base at some point to get a mythic. But one of the key things, as you mentioned, Sharagan, is that is going to allow, if it does force, a tempo advantage for RLS, is for them to put up some advantage on this dragon.
Good.
No response from Wednesday, so that is going to be the first dragon on the board from RLS. So as you said, that is going to be a win condition they can continue to work around because the early game aggression, it hasn't quite worked out for them, but it's still an even game, and they just, whilst they do lose the scaling wars, they do have to start being proactive in this mid game, but that is a good start for them for sure. That's something that they can work towards.
It is going to be something they can definitely work towards. I did like the nice chunk damage Misfortune was able to put onto Jinx. So if Misfortune is able to actually build some really damaging items, they decided to go Eclipse. I'm not entirely sure that's going to be the best play once this Mordekaiser and Sejuani start trying to dive that backline because of how much damage they're able to put out, in addition to how tanky they'll be, means that you're going to be having a little bit of trouble burning through those. I do think that it's going to be kind of interesting once these team fights do start happening.
So it's a bit of a double down, honestly, on them trying to actually, you know, force a win in the mid game because the crit build will scale better, but lethality means that obviously her initial damage, not stronger.
In from Wednesday does mean that they are going to have to use the ulti in order to catch escape, but that is going to be plenty. We do have the heal coming out. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Kiri is egg brought very, very low into the death realm. We do have Anti going close to this tower. They are taking a massive amount of damage from that mace, though.
Anti, I think, has just got to let Kiri
Rocket
chill.
from downtown, looking for the target. It is going to hit Volibear, but it's not enough to kill him.
It's a tough one. I think, at the moment, like, Chalk is sacking CS.
Look at that. Oh, I like the troll from the camera as the ulti was dropped from his fortune, the bullet time. It didn't get a kill, so clearly the game knew that it wasn't going to get a kill.
Well, either way, it clears the wave out, so there's no potential of a dive, which is good, but at least for the side of RLS. But what I'm saying before is that it's tough because you're the bear, right? You have to play make, but this is not the champion to do it against anymore. He's just a rock up there in the top lane. He's happy to sack CS and just
look
play
at
for
John exceptionally low, and that burn from the ignite means that RLS Penguisol is going to pick up a kill, putting himself back on this board. He has been doing a really good job out farming the Corki, so his scaling is going to come up a little bit faster. But in the end, Corki is just going to be that much stronger with his poke.
Yes. So the way that we talked before that RLS have great engage. They do have great engage. So in a sense, if they have a source of damage, and look, you mentioned already, the Escape is doing a good job of farming. When this team is behind, they've spoken about it before, you know, when this team is behind, they need to, Escape needs to do a lot of work, right? And this is a champion where he does just have a button that can pull the trigger. Anti is still, this is very, very brazen.
He is very, very brazen. It's kind of surprising that they knew exactly where he was. I like the cutoff by Chalk in order to make sure there's nowhere for him to go. But we see RLS Anti trying to escape. He's not able to flash over the wall in time as he got hit by the permafrost. And he gets taken out. It is now 6-3, and we are seeing washed clean RLS's clock.
So Anti, baby, like when you're ahead and when you've got a lane kingdom, you're good to go and invade the Gromp. Like he's chill. If he's up there and he's got his own lane kingdom, he's set. He's 4-0 at like 14 minutes. He's chilling. Yeah, he can go do that. But he's behind. He's mad behind. He has no business doing that.
I like the damage Kyrie is putting out over is not going to be enough as they're brought into the Death Realm and the burn just takes them out. The bleeding is not enough because it is he's a metal death god. He doesn't have blood.
No. He definitely don't have no blood no more. That's a suit of armor, my guy. It's an Iron Revenant, and no more than that. He's got the mythic advantage. He had the level advantage as well. He's been just content to play this out, and again, he knows his team is winning. I'm pretty sure Wash know that they win the long con here, so there's no pressure on them at any point, and it does feel like RLS are kind of running into a wall head first a little bit with some of the plays. I mean, and kind of just falling into traps. So again, there is another Drake coming up in 20 seconds time. It does look like they might have a little bit of a tempo advantage here because it does look like Hero X Flash is actually going to take a base. So maybe they can sneak another one and continue to build that soul.
And Wash now looking like the clear victor at 15 minutes, and their percentage for throwing, Lolo, is only 12.5.
Well, you know, there's a first time for everything, Sharo. It has happened before. That's going to be another Drake on the board. Let's see what soul we've got. We've got an Ocean Soul. That's not bad because against a lot of poke, Mountain would be best, but still it is going to allow them sustain, and that's very nice when you're staring down the barrel of a Corki.
It absolutely will. It'll let you take a couple of those rockets to the face and be like, okay, I didn't mean to step there, but I can just walk around and heal up. Oh, nice hook coming out. Does manage to catch the Jan. We got the flash coming out from Johnny Tsunami, though, and the Monsoon does mean the push off. We do have Tepra try to get a target. Anti has jumped right onto the Janna, taking them out, looking to finish off that kill, trying to chase down the Jinx. Isn't going to be quite able to do it. They are going to hide out in this bush right here and just back off. That was really exciting.
Anti didn't even burn Stormbringer there, actually, but it's going to be traded off in the mid lane. It doesn't look like the Herald's going to take down the mid tower. More gold being funneled into this Corki.
Although we do see that we have a lot of damage coming out from Pangu, so he is going to be able to jump onto the bridge. He might be able to take it out before it actually manages to get off a charge, but that's going to cost him his life. Wednesday does manage to pick up that kill. In a way worth, in a way kind of a little bit expensive.
Yeah, I mean, the Herald doesn't get a charge off, which, I mean, credit to Pengu Sol for playing that out, but he is going to give away a little bit more gold there. He is going to lose a little bit more CS, but at the end of the day, you know, that it's not massively worth. I think RLS will still be happy with that because they do take the bot tower. They do manage to funnel more gold into the MF. Escapes on 2 items at 17 minutes. That's early, and he's got a lot of armor pen, so he's ready to try to shred down this Sejuani and this Mordekaiser as best as he can. It's all going to have to be on him because he's the key source of damage. The Victor is sitting there. The Victor's nearly on 2 items as well. So there's a decent amount of damage on RLS, but on the other side, Hero X Flash is scaling. There is a lot of tank. We'll have to see who's going to be, because RLS historically have been a great team fighting team. So are they going to be able to navigate? Now they've built themselves a Dragon Soul up. Hang on.
Oh, we got Anti. He's looking for that target, but isn't going to be able to find it.
No, and this is the thing. Like, no one's really grouped for a major fight as of yet. Washed have been happy to sack Drakes because they're not too worried. They will fight the next one, I'm sure. And that's when we'll actually have to see who's going to be able to navigate this best, because there's a lot of great fighting tools on both sides. But it's just going to be down to, like, Washed have so much peel. Can RLS navigate it, find themselves a greater bullet time, and just be able to, you know, carry the fight from there? Or are Wash just going to chunk them out, peel any forms of engage that they go for? We'll have to see in about 2 minutes' time.
Yeah, and, you know, in all honesty, if we look at the way this is set up, Pengu Sol getting himself caught out a little bit is going to have to flash to avoid the Glacial Flail. He does have the safety of a tower waiting for him. Corky's trying to get engaged, but not quite able to do it. If we look at this mid lane, though, look at the Misfortune. She's already got 2 items completed to the Jinx 1.5. Does have a higher bounty because of that farming. They have been doing a really good job keeping up.
Anti?
Anti is going to be looking for that engage. He does manage to get the Chilling Smite down onto the Corky. Corky's going to have to flash away, but he's going to get ulted on. And that is going to be a nice bit of gold by Anti jumping right on top of him, bringing the hammer down. So that is going to be a nice bit of gold into RLS's pocket. They're trying to stem the bleeding. They are putting a lot of pressure on Wash right now.
They're starting to build a lead, which is what they need, and they didn't have a wave quite yet, so they aren't going to be able to put too much pressure on that bot tower. But that is just still, as you said, it's more gold funneled into their pockets. It is going to deny a little bit more gold to this Corky, and it is going to allow them to maintain prio in that bot lane, and that's what they want, because they want to be able to set up for the soul. So in the meantime, Chalker's not left lane, so he's not really providing much threat with that TP of his. We will be, you know, I expect to see him jump into the fight in about a minute, but it does look like it's RLS who are putting as much, maybe they're going to get a reset off, but nevertheless, they have got a little bit of prio in the bot side now, and hopefully for them, they'll be able to capitalize on it as we move into the river for this Drake.
Hopefully soon, and Kieri is almost finished with that Trinity Force, I believe that they're building right there. And if they are able to build that, that's going to be just a lot of damage they'll be able to output. We do have the Dash Flail coming out, but it's going to go wide as RLS Escape predicted it. Very good job on that sidestep.
The flash, I mean, Washed will take that trade. The MF has no flash now, and they control the choke points because RLS decided to take quite a greedy base. So it looks like they might have to sack this Drake, or they are actually going to walk into the choke. This is very, very risky.
This is risky, although look at that. Washed has given up river control. They have given it over to RLS, who has now started to pressure in on this. We do have Mordekaiser going to be coming up from the bot side. They were ready for it. We do, like, just as we can see how it's set up, there it is. Chalk stepping into the river, and it looks like we've got a nice engage coming out. They were not expecting Chalk right there. Chalk going to flash over the stun from the Victor, but the Zonias does mean that they go golden. However, on the backside, we see poor Kieri is going to get caught out. A lot of damage put onto them. They're going to have to run away, not able to stick around, but the shutdown coming for Victor, managing to pick up the kill on that Mordekaiser, does mean that this is now a 3v4 for this Drake. It's going to be interesting to see exactly how Wash play it. They've given up the choke point. They've stepped into the choke point. Tephra looking for that hook. And we do see this dragon getting started up. They do have vision on it, so they know that they're there. This is really, really risky on the side of RLS, in all honesty.
It is. Bullet time still available.
Oh, they don't know that Escape is there. The flail's going to come out. They'll catch them out. And that is going to be the nice dragon coming over to the side of RLS. Huge bullet time is going to be stopped by the monsoon. But it's going to matter as we do see the love taps coming out from his fortune, bouncing back and forth. And look at this Pangu Soul going in onto Let's Go Joey. That is going to be unfortunate. They get zapped away by the laser. We do have Jinx hiding underneath the turret, though. They're looking to get that safety off. This is going to be a Baron call, though, coming out from RLS. No, sorry, they're going to rotate back to the mid lane.
No, and just thinking about that. Oh, hang on.
Wait, this fight's still going. We see Anti going ham. He does manage to grab the lantern, but he's not able to get pulled over the wall. Stays under the tower. But the nice stun is we see two members of Team Watch get caught out right there. Chalk, though, getting out with just the edge of his life, but the laser is going to find the final shot as Jinx gets shut down. In the meantime, we have the blue turret getting taken out as well. That was huge for RLS, and it just stemmed a lot of the bleeding.
It didn't stem the bleeding. It built them a lead, Sharrigan. They've now won about 4,500 gold lead and a soul point. This is gigantic. And Washed there, after that, both top laners 1v5ing and, Chalk finding himself in the middle of 5 people and saying, okay, I'm a fed Mordekaiser, but I'm not that fed. Kieri manages to run away with the ghost. She comes back into the fight. RLS have a numbers advantage. They still have the bullet time available. Washed, there was a little bit of hesitation there. Some of them wanted to just try to push for the mid turret. Some of them wanted to try to fight for the Drake. And ultimately, they take a fight that they shouldn't have taken. And now they've just given RLS a huge lead. They've given away a mid turret. They've given away the Drake. And now, Pengu's a monster. Look, he picked up so much in that previous fight. He's now on 2 items. And I think now Washed are really going to struggle because once again, RLS have shown that they are the superior team when it comes to navigating those fights.
They really, really are. And with just how far ahead the RLS is in front of Wash, it's going to be really interesting to see exactly how they're able to play this out because we've already got Soul Point on the side of RLS. They're going to be going for that Ocean Soul, and if they can clean that up, they're going to be finishing this game off quick, and it's going to be before Washed has a chance to come online and to fully scale into this late game.
Yes, absolutely. And Joey's not sitting. So if we look at the items right now, because the next key thing is Baron control, and it does look like it's going to be RLS who are taking full control. Look at all of that vision in the jungle and around the river. That is exactly what they want. They've got the choke point control, and that is lethal when you have an MF staring you down with almost 3 items worth of lethality. So, yeah, look at this. Like, it's dark there, and they have to be so careful stepping into their jungle. This is really, really scary for Washed. So, Wednesday can face check, and they're the only one who can, but that's a lot of work. They might get caught out.
They are. Wednesday is trying to clear this vision out. We have Anti coming in right behind Tefra coming in as well. They're coming in around these vision hooks. It looks like Anti was caught out. Chalk is coming down to save his allies. Anti trying to get that engage, isn't quite able to do it though. That was really, really tight. That was scary.
Yeah, but that's a big victory actually for Wash because it allowed Wednesday to take back some vision control of their jungle. So there's less chance of a potential pick. So it does allow them to potentially work their way, just inch their way towards the river and dissuade RLS for just starting the Baron. They've got a quick Baron because their MF is fed, their Victor's fed. In the meantime,
we got the engage in the mid lane was we had, I didn't notice that, but we had Wednesday moving his way down to that target, trying to find escape, isn't going to be quite able to. He's going to get stunned in place, slowed just enough, despite that, the quick Monsoon in order to push Thresh back in order to stop the engage. That was going to be absolutely huge. We have Anti trying to ult away to try to stay alive. A huge bullet time to just dissuade any continued engage onto
Pangu.
Pangu picking up that kill on the Rampage as he rotated around.
Okay, so let's just see this replay a little bit here. So once again, Escape is trying to just clear waves in the mid lane, maintain that priority for the Baron. But it looks like we were talking about RLS, potentially getting a pick. It's actually Wash that want to pull the trigger on a pick. Yep. And look what happens here. Tefra, though. Look at all this peel.
Such a good amount of peel coming out from Tefra as we see that Thresh is just doing a great job doing what Threshes need to do. Escape is able to get away with their life. Unfortunately, like most supports, he has to give up his own in order to survive. And look at that. The good return by Escape with that bullet time. That right there, that combination is great communication. And then you had Pangu flipping up behind, picking up that kill. He is able to get some nice gold in his pocket, just try and push that Victor a little bit farther ahead. And that's just going to be what keeps RLS here where they need to be. but look at the gold deficit and just how close that fight was.
Yeah, it also actually burned Chalk's TPs. That's a big net win actually for RLS. It's amazing that the two of their members got out with the skin of their teeth. MF's shutdown is preserved. Only Tefra goes down. Great play from him, as you said. Anti, he got very, very lucky. That's all I'll say. But nevertheless, Pengu Giga Chad walks in, manages to pick up a member, stares down for like 4 members of Washed and says, "Try me. I'm Victor." They maybe could have gone for something. They might want his shutdown because he's worth 800 gold at the moment. That's gold they desperately need injected into one of their carries. But nevertheless, look, that's beside the point now. We've now moved into that soul point that we were talking about. And once again, it is Washed to have control of the choke point. Are they going to give it up this time?
We'll have to see. We see that the vision trying to get cleared by RLS. They do manage to catch out 2 members of Wash before they're ready to fight. The Mordekaiser, using the defensive claw, does manage to push them away. They have been forced out of this river very quickly. However, the rest of Wash has now returned, so it's a matter of whose poke is stronger. Washed has got a nice bit of range on them, so they're able to just poke them from a distance right here and just kind of push RLS away. And RLS is looking for that engage, but they just can't seem to find it right now.
No, and they don't have any vision control. Look at all those control wards sitting right on top of RLS. They have full vision, and one in the pit as well. So behind them too. So there's not enough really for hang on. They might actually burger flip it.
They are going to try and burger flip it. We have a huge tornado coming out, getting a nice bit of damage on. But look at that. Blue team does manage to take down the Drake, so they did start it up. They did manage to pick it up. That is nice. Really good disengage once again from Johnny Tsunami. That tornado with the Glacial Augment proc, it stopped RLS in their tracks.
So RLS tried to nick this, and it actually is going to be that Super Mega Death Rocket that eventually takes it out. That's a huge win for Wash. They get out. Little Maelstrom. Sorry, Maelstrom at the end there from
Janna.
Not Maelstrom. Yeah, from the Janna Monsoon. Excuse me. It's another. It's not a little rat with lightning. It's a lady with flying around with an umbrella. Anyway, point being,
on the field.
Yes. Anyway, that's beside the point. They get away. No members go down. They deny the stall point. It is going to be traded for a mid turret. RLS said you're not going to get away that easy, and they are going to clean out whatever of the bot jungle. They still have control of Baron, and once again, it's a vision game. It is going to be a little bit of hide and seek right now. Wednesday's not going to allow it, though.
Anti is getting a nice bit of engage. A huge pull in by the claw, but a great box coming out from Thresh. Does manage to trap the Mordekaiser in the backline. However, Chalk is just so monstrous right now, so he is just able to rip through these health bars. Anti trying to catch back up, but this Mordekaiser is just too dang strong. He's ripping through the team right now, and then Jinx coming in, finishing off the Volley Bear. This is just hunting season for Team Washed.
Washed, exactly what I was worried about didn't happen, because Wednesday said, look, they're going to try to set up a bush. Let's just not let them. Everyone goes in, and Chalk gets onto escape. Tefra's not able to peel him because he's split up because they're all in the jungle, and that's him taken down as well. No Super Mega Death Rocket picking up a little straggler there, but it doesn't matter because that's going to be a Baron now that RLS just don't really have any ability to contest.
And we have passed that point of no return. Wash is just going to start getting bigger and bigger and bigger as this game progresses.
Yeah, this is disaster for RLS, honestly. They had so much advantage. They still have that soul point that they can work for, but with this Baron, a lot of turrets, of course, or at least the turrets have definitely been going in the advantage of RLS, so let's see how much Wash can pull back. But as you said, Sharagan, this is definitely in the throw range now for RLS. And if you're Washed, your damage is only going to get better from here. You have the Baron, and you've just demonstrated that you can play the team fight out in a choke point like that perfectly well if you get on top of the MF and don't let her do her thing. So now let's see what they can do with their lane assignments and how much they're going to get off of this Baron.
If I was RLS right now, I'd be pressuring that top tower as much as I can. Get rid of that. The tier 1s are still up, by the way, which is hilarious. So you got to get that opened. You got to be able to get some extra pressure across these lanes, because right now this siege in the mid lane is going to get your turret's going to fall no matter what you do because of this Baron push.
Yeah, and Joey, who's been sort of kind of quiet, honestly, in terms of damage. A lot of it really has been about the top side and actually Hero X Flash. But He's slowly scaling. He's got his Ludens now, and he's going to be the one who's going to have to force this. Hang on.
Look at that. The permafrost coming out. The flail is going to catch Pangusul. Pangusul is going to go golden. In order to stay alive, he did take a lot of damage from the rocket, so they're trying to keep him alive, trying to get him out so that he doesn't give up that. He's already given up that shutdown, though. Jinx catching the snipe means that this Victor is going to fall. His ulti is going to be drifting around for a little bit, but not able to pick anyone else up. And now it's just a pick game for Team Wash. They can just push this mid wave as much as they want. Meantime, Mordekaiser's up in the top lane, and there's nothing RLS can do to stop him.
It's getting from bad to worse for RLS because now they can't even engage. The poke is getting worse and worse. This is what I'm saying. Joey needs to be landing that poke. He's landing that poke. They've got the range advantage. Hero X Flash, of course, is doing an awful lot of damage with these rockets, and now Chalk is uncontested. He's 2 levels up on Kieri. He's got Baron minions. Yeah, this is really, really scary. They're going to have to wave clear as best they can. They've got the bullet time for emergency wave clear should they need it. But right now, RLS, they need to compose themselves, give up another turret if they need to, get themselves ready to fight again, and try to make a miracle happen on the next Drake.
See, and all Washed has to do is just keep this pressure up in the mid lane. It's just they've already able to take that tower down. This dragon's going to be up in another minute, but they really don't need to stress over it. They're going to be able to pick that up really easily. Just walk right over there, get their vision set up. And at this point, it is their game to lose.
It is, for sure. RLS, at this point, they can still make magic happen. Remember that whilst Washed won that decisive team fight in the choke point because Wednesday just pulled the trigger, Chalk pulled the trigger, and between them they said, look, we control it. This is our jungle. You can't just net traps in it again. This time, remember that we have a choke point, we have an MF, we have a Victor. They're both fabulous in choke points. So it's going to be down to RLS, I think, to try to lure Washed somehow. They haven't. Washed have kind of been quite good at navigating it this thus far.
Hold on, does manage to catch Joey out. This is going to be huge. That means that they have an easy time for this Drake. That Corki's down. That's a huge amount of damage that is just taken off of Wash's profile.
Or that could happen, Sharigan. Joey could just get caught in a side lane, and that means that this is the worst possible time for Washed. Because that's going to be the soul going over unless Washed do want to try for some sort of a fight here. But they're down a member. No,
they're down a member, but if you saw the damage that Jinx was putting out, it really isn't that bad for them. They can try and pressure this as much as they want. We have the vision dropping down. Super Mega Death Rocket's going to come out.
Oh my god.
Not able to get a fight it. It got exceptionally close this time. Red team does manage to get the Ocean Soul. That is going to be really nice for them. This is a lot of sustain they now have. But like you said, this is sustain. This isn't just damage mitigation.
No. That's also not the 6th best jungler in the league, so he didn't lose a smite to a Jinx Mega Death Rocket. So well done, Anti. Credit to him. Secures the soul. And that is going to be something that breathes life into this game for RLS. The gold is still even. Obviously, by the method, we've talked enough about the comps. Wash are winning based off of that, and they do have priority just for the moment after that Baron push. But there's another Baron coming up in a minute and 30 seconds time. As I said already, RLS, if they control the choke points well, they can easily win a fight. They've got bullet time, they've got Chaos Storm, they've got Engage, they've got everything, they've got a box, they've got all they need to completely shut down Washed and just leave them with the tanks not knowing what to do at the end of it. So Washed still have to be very careful, but they obviously have a 4-item Jinx. They have a Mordekaiser who can get onto the back line. They have a Sejuani. They have massive tanks who are looking less and less difficult, easy to kill. It's going to be coming down to really, again, vision control, choke point control. No one needs to get caught out. Joey cannot get caught out like that again, because if he does, then that could be another major objective that Washed are just going to feel too pressured to actually contest. So I think it's going to have to be a little bit about grouping up now, particularly if you're Washed, and just try to play the poke game. Try to wear down RLS to the point where you feel competent enough you can get an engage.
Right now, Wash wants to 5-man death ball it, so RLS has to keep them from doing that. They got to put pressure on these side lanes, pressure on these waves, make sure that Wash stays split up so they can get those picks, like you mentioned. With this Baron coming up, we do see that there's not a lot of vision control over there at this moment, so we're not going to see it fighting. They're not going to be fighting for it right as it spawns, but that is definitely going to be a target they're all looking for. And once again, we have Pangusul in this bot lane continually just pushing this wave. Every time Corki pushes it into their tower, he's like, nah, it's going back the other way.
Absolutely. Both sides have tremendous wave clear.
Ooh,
Wednesday doesn't care about that.
That's a huge glacial flail. Escape is caught out. He is getting bursted down almost instantaneously. Hero X Flash goes on a killing spree, does manage to pick up that kill. They now have a 550 gold bounty, boosted up to 650. That is going to be huge. As we now see that Baron is online, it is getting bursted out. That was the pick that Wash needed, and this is going to be really interesting to see exactly what happens here.
Zoe's got package.
Joey's got package. Anti's looking for the engage. Blue team does manage to take down Baron Nashor. Anti is trapped in the death realm by Chalk. He was not able to try and engage. He does jump over the wall. He's able to escape that realm, able to get away with his life. But that is just going to be absolutely devastating for rapidly losing sanity.
Again, the same thing happens, but this time it's Wash to get away with it. The key carry or one of the key carries gets picked, and they can just walk over and laugh at them and say, how are you going to fight us now if you're missing like a vast chunk of your damage? And look at this, they're going to be able to siege. Yes, RLS have good wave clear. The package is still, I think it's just about run out now, unfortunately for Joey, but nevertheless, that is just going to be another Baron going over uncontested. Chalk is going to nick the red buff. Is Anti going to go for him? He is.
Anti is going for it. He's hit that go button. He's trying to go in on this hard, but the thing is, you've got Johnny Tsunami coming up from this bot lane. They're going to be able to provide a huge amount of CC and shielding, but it's not going to be enough as we get the shutdown coming out. Pengu Soul picking up that kill. The support not able to save their top laner quite yet.
So I think both sides have got to really show a little bit of respect to the other because, like, there are a lot of just engage lockdown tools. Wednesday's been doing work with the Glacial Prison, absolutely. That, like, making picks left, right, and center. But on the other side, Anti, Pengu, they've been making picks as well. No one can. I mean, that was, you know, we've seen brazenness in the other players' jungle. That's just another example of it. Shot gets locked down. That denies a lot of the split push pressure that Washed would have had with this Baron. And that means that we're going to see a little bit of a RLS barreling down into the mid lane with Kiri on the top side, and they actually get a push from their own against the Baron.
Yep, they're going to be pushing against this pressure of that Baron. That is going to be really, really nice for them. They like that a lot. We have Kyrie up in the top lane, pushing on this top tower. This is what RLS needs to do. They need to just keep pressuring these waves, pushing them away from their base, because if they keep losing these fights, it's a matter of time before they just get completely bled out.
For sure, but the Baron is still available, so it's not as if they can push much further, but they are going to maintain a couple of turrets. Now, the game has dragged on. Gold is still even because of how back and forth it's been. Next thing, we should talk about the Elder. The Elder buff is up in 1 minute's time. This is perfectly synchronized backing now for the side of RLS. They're going to run headlong towards that Baron pit, I'm sure, but tempo-wise, Washed are just a little bit closer. There is already Vision sitting there in the river for the side of RLS. They're going to need to clean that out as quickly as possible and make sure they have control of the choke points, because those are going to be crucial in this next possibly decisive fight.
This is going to be the decisive fight, because if RLS does manage to pick up this Elder Drake, that is going to be huge. That execute is gross. Like, we talk about the souls being strong. It's true. They are strong. But at the same time, the execute on the Elder Dragon is just absolutely insane.
Anti is a little bit late here, and he's on his own. He's going to group up with the team, but this time I think Washed are going to be a little bit more. And look at the poke that's coming out now from these rockets. This is really difficult for them.
It is, but that Ocean Soul is going to help them heal it right back up.
For sure. Yeah, you very, very true, Sharagan. And nevertheless, once again, Washed are just going to concede the river. It's amazing. Yes, they have vision, so they can just continue to apply poke, but it's going to be the dance once again, and they've not neglected to flip it on the choke point.
And there it is.
Really
the bell has been rung. Elder Dragon has been awoken. RLS shredding it down. They're basically trying to force this fight. Tefra gets caught out a little bit. Look at this. Huge bullet time, but it's going to get stopped almost immediately. Kyrie is getting pushed back. Their damage is just too much. Wash getting so much on the back line. We had Jinx peppering them, but it wasn't quite enough. Wednesday is going to be the only member of Washed left. Unfortunately, they're going to be playing around this bitch right there. That is going to be the ace coming out for RLS. That is huge.
I mean, Bun there and Elder at this point, Sharagan, they can push for an inhib at the very least. Pengu is a monster, by the way. This we love seeing a team fight victor where he just carries a fight like that. But Escape gets caught out, but Wednesday gets a little bit too preoccupied trying to take him down with the full tank Sejuani, and the Victor just cleaning up the fight behind him. Yeah, they've got long enough. This is going to be game.
Well, they are going to be putting a lot of damage on this. Kyrie just running right into this. Those turrets are going to go down. This is exactly what RLS wanted. They're going to try and give their lives for this Nexus. They're going to just keep pummeling it as best they can. Johnny trying to push them away with the Tsunami is not able to do it. That is going to be game for RLS.
Oh my goodness. And what a game that was.
ending fight, I want to go back and analyze because that was huge.
I mean, so the engage comes. Tefra goes for the engage. We can't talk too much about it, if only just because we haven't got a replay. But nevertheless, I do suggest we go back at some point. Those of you watching, and have a look at the VOD, because I'm on a Pengu for sure. Amazing stuff. Nevertheless, that is going to be RLS. Yes, we talked about that throw factor from them. Did not materialize here. They said, we've had enough. We've read the connect. You're saying that we lose every game after 15 minutes. Well, not the case this time around. They are going to put themselves another win on the board.
That is going to be a nice thing for RLS. They have got to, that they're sweating at the very end. They're like, we end at the very end. So with that goes, we'll be taking a quick break. We'll be right back with an interview with our winners, rapidly losing sanity. In the meantime, while you wait, feel free to go to FOFesports.com, check out the FOF Connect, check out our merch store, see what kind of goodies we got available for y'all to pre-order. Remember, those pre-orders are only open from today until April 16th. Once that date is up, who knows when the shop is going to get open again.
Hello, folks. Chris Edgeworth here with our first interview tonight, and I am joined by Anti of the victorious, rapidly losing Sanity. How you feeling after the win?
Hello. I am feeling quite nice about that one. Honestly, I think a lot of it I can attribute to my teammates being very, very good. I was kind of just along for the ride for a lot of it. But overall, definitely feels good to have a win under the belt, right?
Yes. You take those dubs when you can get them, So, and this was up against a very tough opponent. I mean, this is a 40-minute slog, a bit of a banger. Let's talk about this specific game, though. We see you swapping down into the jungle for this matchup, and the good news is that hey, Volibear is a very versatile champion in the champion pool, so you got to pull out the anti-special in that regard. The draft overall had its interesting merits. You're in the Volley Sedge matchup. The whole top side of the map was interesting because you had the more Darius matchup in the top. The Corki Victor matchup is sort of like whatever. And then MF and Jinx with the Enchanter support with the Jinx. So what were your thoughts overall on this draft?
Honestly, as far as draft goes, we had a lot of it prepped out beforehand. Like, we knew that they were probably going to put a decent amount of bans towards the AD carry role, but Escape has quite the champion pool. So we weren't too worried about that, and we decided to run our quote-unquote flying thunder formation technique for that draft. We have multiple names for multiple permutations, and that's what we ended up going with this time around. I'm not gonna lie though, some of their bans were incredibly confusing to me. So they put 4 bans towards Escape's AD carry pool, which, like, sure, Escape's a very strong player, go ahead, put a bunch of bans towards him. And then they banned my Zac. Now I think a little bit of that has to do with Joey playing for Wash today, and Joey is a good friend of ours, is in the RLS server, like we chat all the time. Joey knows I've been playing a lot of Zac lately. Otherwise it just doesn't make that much sense to me to leave the Volibear open. But either way, and Pengu Soul Victor is always going to be a very, very strong pick.
Yeah, maybe it was a personal favor,
Yeah, who knows? I still don't understand why Darius keeps getting through as well, but I don't know. Like, as far as like the game itself went, right? I feel like the picks themselves worked to how they were expected. Like, even though Kiri, for example, right, doesn't necessarily smash lane or anything like that, like, she was on the back foot in terms of kills, I would look top and be like, oh, well, I mean, she's up 20 CS, she'll be fine. And, despite the ganks, despite Mordekaiser being a really, really tough champion to play into once Mordekaiser gets a lead, she walks out of that lane into the Dragon Pit, aggro's 4 people, somehow survives, and we end up winning out quite comfortably.
Yeah, and let's talk about how the game sort of shifted in your favor, because of the so-called selfless play like that. Just realizing like, hey, it is what it is. This is happening. We roll with the state of the game as it is. And even if a champion like Darius is supposed to smash lane super hard, you just take the gold in the pocket when you can get it. Let's talk about the swing though that happened in this game. You folks were down a little bit in the early game, but things started trending more in your favor. You start stacking the dragons, and eventually it swings back in your favor around some really smart team fights, knowing when to pick your battles, and a lot of the vision play that was highlighted on the broadcast. What were your thoughts and the team's feelings going through sort of the early to mid-game transition where things started trending in your favor, and how triggered were you when Jinx stole the dragon with the rocket?
I mean, there's a few things, right? So as far as the team fights went, right, a lot of it was just us saying, okay, you know what, let's just slow the pace of the game down, just be fighting around objectives, And, as far as laning went, our laners, while they might not necessarily have more kills in the lane, if you look at the CS numbers, you look at the way how the trades are going, they're all doing fine. So we're okay to scale up to play for those big team fights. Jinx stealing Dragon, okay. I mean, it happens, right? I will say it's a little sad to me because during the first time that RLS was going to enter FOF, when we were playing in the Mythic League, we had a lot of deliberation between whether Pengu's Soul was going to play jungle or if I was going to play jungle. Like, between top and jungle, the two of us were debating a lot. And one of the big things that was basically one of the big plus points, I guess, for when I was playing jungle was I very, very, very rarely ever missed Smite. So unfortunate that I didn't get a chance to go for a steal, and the fact that I did get Dragon stolen from me today. Yeah, it hurts, but it's not that big of a deal in the long run.
It's just unlucky. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Anti, for joining us for this interview. Before we step away, though, any final thoughts you'd like to leave with us on the desk?
Well, my team, very, very good. And as always, in the end, we got another dub for the Ruby League server.
Hell yeah. That's it, folks. We're going to take a short break, give you a chance to check out the magazine, maybe pre-order some merch, and we'll be back with the second game of the night, so don't go too far. We'll be back very soon.
Trying to get myself a lamb color cuts for the game. Leave him hanging by his chain. Click, bang, feeling rage, feeling fire in my brain, feeling insane. And it's all we feel the flame. 45 to my brain, praying more and please fail. No glory. Taking out aggression with my head because I trust it. Fighting, trying to get myself a lamb color custard.
Remember, I used to be that kid that every day would get rejected. Y'all got my story, the glory was painted on a song. I'm mortified but feel immortal. It's pen to this paper, always open up different portals. It's I and me, it's me and I'm by myself. I'm down the ride, I'm taking on the tide. Size of tsunamis touching the sky. I got a quick scan, it's time to move. Leaving everything else behind, I got something to prove. I'm just riding away, no I ain't running away. I got memories set, oh I'm just finding my place where I belong to. Feeling glory in my soul.